What's going on, guys? My name is Alex, coming at you with another video, and today I want to talk about something a little different when it comes to Call of Duty, and that is communication. So a lot of people think that in order for a Call of Duty game to be good, or any video game to be good for that matter, the mechanics have to be the best, or at least they just have to be good enough to keep you playing. And I do think that gameplay mechanics and gameplay systems and the carrot on the stick and whatever can keep player retention, I do think that shit is important. I do. Don't get me wrong. But I think that a lot of players solely focus on that and they're like, oh, this game's boring, or this game doesn't have systems that I like, or whatever. And then therefore they write it off and they don't enjoy it. But I truly think that there are more aspects to a Call of Duty experience other than just good gameplay. I think when you look at a Call of Duty experience, you have to look at the entire pie. So there's the good gameplay mechanics, there's communication, there's events and planning, there's DLC, there's reward systems, there's all of these different parts, these moving pieces that go together to make a great experience for that particular year, as well as the thematic element of the whole entire game, whatever is going to be taking place in the campaign and kind of the overarching themes for the multiplayer and zombies. Like, it all has to tie together in some way, shape, or form to make this cohesive COD experience withstand the pressure and the test of time. But I want to focus on strictly communication, because if we look at the history of Call of Duty, starting with Black Ops 3 through Infinite Warfare, through World War II to Black Ops 4, and to present time, there is a clear pattern of communication rising and falling, and the correlation of passion from the fans is something to take note of. And by the way, this is mostly going to be focused on zombies, but I think it ties into multiplayer and campaign as well. But I just want to establish that because this is primarily a zombies channel. But when Black Ops 3 came out, there was so much communication from Treyarch. They were flying content creators out. Jason Blundell was doing all of these interviews, flying to people's houses. He went to JC's apartment at his college and revealed Zombies Chronicles 2. There was so much information coming at us from Treyarch themselves that made our experience of zombies even more exciting, because it tied into the marketing, but it also felt like, holy crap, this AAA studio is treating us like people. They're not treating us like a mark. They're not treating us like another number, another person in line. They care just as much as us about this franchise and about this particular iteration of zombies and just zombies in general. And you could feel it. Now, I will say with Black Ops 3 and even Infinite Warfare, which we're about to touch on in just a second, times were different. People were not chewing through content at the rates that they are now. So if Black Ops 3 came out today, I don't think it would succeed at all, because the rate that we chew through DLC, that we need content updates so regularly, Black Ops 3 wouldn't cut it. So the way that they could deliver information to us back then was different from a pacing standpoint than it could be today. And we will get to that in just a moment. Let's jump to Infinite Warfare and World War II Zombies, because I think that was the peak of communication from zombies developers to zombies fans. In my opinion, Lee Ross was on Twitter almost every day tweeting things about zombies. People obviously went out to the studio to play the game early and to play maps early and all that stuff, just like normal. But Lee Ross took it to the next level by interacting with fans nearly every day, teasing things about Easter eggs, teasing things about fun lore, teasing things about the next maps coming out. He was so involved and he loved interacting with our community, and it made Infinite Warfare even a better experience than it already was. I know that game gets a lot of flack, and I know it's not as good as some of the Treyarch titles. Infinite Warfare is its own unique experience, and it's pretty good compared to some of the zombies maps we've had since then, but that's not really the point. The point is that Lee Ross allowed us to experience zombies in a different way by bringing us into his world via communication, via Twitter. And Cameron Dayton, who was the lead director of the World War II Zombies storyline, and I think of gameplay and all that stuff as well, he was just like the Jason Blundell and the Lee Ross of World War II Zombies. He also was pretty active on Twitter. He isn't as much anymore, and he went on the Zombros podcast. He was constantly interacting with fans. The communication was a little less than it was with Infinite Warfare Zombies. I would say it was about as on par with Black Ops 3, but it wasn't as eventful, so we didn't really get that same experience. But in my opinion, it drew me closer to the mode because I was getting to talk to the director via Twitter if I, talked to him and I reached out. And I think that goes a long way when we get to peer behind the curtain of what is happening. So then we end up at Black Ops 4. And this is going to be kind of hypocritical to my overarching premise here. Black Ops 4 is my favorite zombies experience, and that's mainly because the maps and the atmosphere and the way they did Easter eggs, all that stuff, I just absolutely loved. But I think it would have been even better if we would have had a ton of communication with Treyarch. Treyarch did this weird thing that year where they weren't really flying people out to the studio to play the game early. They had this huge, massive reveal event where everybody got to see 9 and Blood of the Dead and Voyage of Despair revealed, all of Blackout, multiplayer experience, the lack of the campaign. Like, that was a huge event. But after that, Treyarch didn't really do anything for that whole entire year. They simply put together these weird videos where they would put together a 5 to 10 minute montage of different devs talking about each DLC pack, which is fine. I'm all about that. That's great. I want them to do that. But they were pretty much radio silent. And I think that's because we were so pissed off as a community at the beginning of that game. We were not happy with Black Ops 4's launch at all. It was crashing all the time. People couldn't complete Easter eggs who were first in the world in the boss, and then the whole game would just blue screen, and people didn't like the elixir system, and custom mutations wasn't really flushed out. Grief never came around. The Black Ops pass was so expensive. There were a lot of little things that pissed people off, and we wanted clarification, and we never got it. And in fact, they kind of just ignored it. And that fun element of storytelling just went out the window. There was also the Chaos Crew predicament. At launch, and I understand this, people wanted the original Zombies crew. They wanted Richtofen and Dempsey and Takio and Nikolai. They wanted those characters. But instead, Treyarch gave us the Chaos Crew. That put a sour taste in people's mouths. And then after the release of Ancient Evil, when people started getting a feel for these characters, started to enjoy the storyline a little bit more, they canceled that storyline because we were unhappy with it, and then they cut the budget for zombies. At least that's what we were led to believe. Now, I understand we're never going to get the logistics of the situation to be put out in the open like that, and that's fine. I'm sure there's legal reasons for why they would never tell fans such a thing. But the fact that they just like ghosted the Chaos Crew and then gave us these weird picture-esque cutscenes that looked like paintings that kind of moved, like it went from having cinematic cutscenes to these weird non-cinematic cutscenes that were just like pictures of what was happening on screen. And they were very cool and artsy, and Dreisendrach has one, and I think some other maps have them as well. But it was weird how they went from this amazing cinematic experience with the Chaos Crew, then I guess got their budget cut in half and had to really just pull a bunch of assets out of their ass to make the last few maps to fulfill the obligation of the Black Ops pass. And then you tie all this with Blundell leaving out of nowhere, and it just seemed like there was no transparency at all. Fans were just left in the dark constantly with Black Ops 4, and this waiting for things to get fixed or for information to leak or information to be told to us was just excruciatingly painful. Because with Black Ops 3, there was a level of excitement like, where are we going? And oh, the next map is going to have dragons, and oh, we're going to an island, and then revelations and all these amazing things, and Blundell teasing us along the way. And you can say the same thing about Infinite Warfare and World War II, and then Black Ops 4 just pulls the rug out from under our feet and goes backwards with all of the progress we made as a community with our levels of communication with the studios who make zombies. So what does this look like today? Well, with Cold War and Vanguard, I think that communication is still on the side of poor. With Cold War, it was definitely better than what we have with Vanguard. But when Cold War came out, yes, I understand it was COVID, so it's kind of a weird area. And I didn't really play Modern Warfare 2019, so I can't touch on that. But with Cold War, there was a ton of dead air from basically launch until Firebase Z. That's when we started getting a little bit more information about what was to come. They were still putting out those like produced videos where they explained the DLC, just like they did with Black Ops 4. That's fine. I get it. COVID, they can't fly people out. Understandable. But it didn't feel like until about Mauer der Toten did they start to feel confident again, like they had caught up with everything that was going on behind the scenes, to where they really started to kind of like let us in a little bit more. Kevin Drew started to tweet a little bit more with the community. I think he is a great face for the community, but we need somebody who is just going to be able to talk with us, kind of tease us with things that are going to come to fruition inside of the zombies mode. And that was a fun thing that Blundell did. And I don't want Kevin Drew to mimic Blundell. I want Kevin Drew to be his own person. I want him to be his own form of, communicator, or however he wants to deal with the zombies community. But if he doesn't want to take on that role, I think they need somebody to do it, because having somebody there, a face for zombies, somebody that we can all latch onto, I think is a healthy element. Now, we can't just dump everything on that person and blame them for when things go wrong like people do, but it's fun when we actually have a good game and things are healthy and things are going the correct way. And since basically World War II, we haven't had that in zombies. Now, let's just touch on Vanguard for a little bit, even though I don't care about it at all. This is really where I think a level of entitlement from the developers has started to brew a lot more than normal. And Vanguard's a hot pile of garbage. We don't need to get into that, but I do want to highlight that I feel like they ripped off fans and they waste our time, and our time is valuable, and they don't seem to care about individuals or human beings in the sense of, you know, we paid for this product and they're just ghosting us. They're not tweeting about anything. It took them months to apologize. They keep adding days onto seasons. They keep cutting content. It's a literal mess over there. And then they have the goal to put out this series on their Twitter page. Well, a lot of different developers did it, and they put the hashtag, "This is what a dev looks like." Now, I understand the point of this. It's to humanize the developers, and I'm all for that. I get it's people behind the screen who are making these products, and we can't just yell at them and send them death threats. Like, if you do that, you're absolutely sick in the head. But you do have every right to be upset with them for making a product, selling you a broken product, and then ghosting you for months on end. You have every right to be upset about that. And then the fact that they have the balls to put out this is what a dev looks like shit all over Twitter, while they are literally ignoring us about our pleas towards the product that we paid them for, that they are living off of our, you know, means. I just think it's absolutely disrespectful. And this is not the type of communication I'm talking about. I don't know what it is with Sledgehammer Games, but they're just the most entitled development studio out of all of the COD studios. It's very weird. They like don't fit in that mold at all. I just don't get it. And I'm sure I'm going to take some flack for saying this, but I don't care, because I'm trying to think about this as a human to human interaction. And when they just treat us like absolute dog shit, well, I don't have respect for you either. And I'm not going to sit there and go, wow, these devs are so brave for sticking their necks out there. It's like, no, you weren't there when it actually mattered. You weren't there when fans were coming home from work and wanted to relax and play Vanguard, and then they couldn't because their game was so fucked up because you guys don't know how to do your jobs. And now you come out when it's safe because everybody else is promoting the hashtag. That's not the communication that I am about. So where am I going with all of this? 15 minutes in, and where the hell am I going? I'm just sound like a babbling psychopath at this point. Well, I promise you there is a point. So a few days ago, a position description from Call of Duty themselves, they posted it on like LinkedIn or some shit. I don't even know. It doesn't really matter. Talking about a position description for 2022, a stellar opportunity for Call of Duty with an extraordinary lineup of innovations and curated player experiences, multi-platform gameplay, subscription-based content, mobile game development, and a move to always-on community and player connectivity. They're calling it COD 2.0, and in this era, this leader will extend the COD brand authentically in ways that engage core audiences and ignite and excite new ones. They will add cultural fuel to COD marketing overall. They will extend and add meaning to COD creative ideas. Now, I guess they removed this description, but Charlie Intel posted it on their Twitter page as well. So even if it's fake, I still think that they're trying to tell us that they want to take these steps, and I am 100% all for that. We need more communication from the multiplayer side, from the Warzone side, from the zombies side, and everything in between. We need a pillar, a face, a whatever. It could be a bot behind a Twitter account. I don't really care, but we need something to engage with to hype us up. They have just missed out on so many fun opportunities for Vanguard. They didn't really do anything for Christmas. They put some lights up, I guess, inside of shipment. They skipped St. Patrick's Day. I don't really think they did too much for Valentine's Day. I know there was a couple blueprints and a challenge in Warzone, but like, there's nothing fun. There's nothing festive. There's nothing interesting because no one's talking to us. No one's telling us what's happening. They're just dumping a bunch of content and then hiding in their cave again. And it's like, you can't do that when you are dealing with millions of customers. You have to have open lines of communication. And if you're not going to do that, then you might as well just not have a product at all. I just don't understand this new era of Call of Duty where they're literally allowed to sell us broken things and then hide from the repercussions and then come out like they're depraved people. It's absolutely insane and backwards. Now, I know that we're never going to get to the point where we were with Blundell, where he's going to be literally like the father of the zombies community. I understand that that is over, but we have to have some other figure for the next Treyarch game that's going to be able to tell us what's going on, tease things to us, have a fun, spirited moment with us via Twitter. Whatever it is, it has to happen. Otherwise, I don't think we're ever going to experience another golden age of zombies. And here's the thing, if this COD 2.0 thing is real, then I believe we will be experiencing the golden age 2.0 of zombies, because I think when COD 2024 rolls around and we get this new zombies game from Treyarch, I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. I think the zombies community is going to revitalize, and if they really are going to take communication seriously like they claim they want to, then this could absolutely be huge for us. So fingers crossed, let's hope for the best. Hopefully this Microsoft merger is more than just a merger from a financial aspect, and it's actually going to change a lot of things culturally, because Lord knows they freaking need it. But I am out of time. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I appreciate it more than you know. Hit that like button if you like the video. Hit that sub button if you want to see more content just like this. And also, don't forget to leave your comments in the comment section down below. What do you think? Does communication matter to you? I think it's very important, obviously. I just made a 15-20 minute video about it. So please, let me know what you think. Am I out of my mind? Am I not even reading the situation correctly? I really want to know what you think, because having a fun communication element to anything in my life, I think is very beneficial, including video games. So please let me know what you're thinking down below, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Peace out, everybody.